there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Amanda and today I've got a video for you sharing some twin name suggestions. So maybe you've just found out you're expecting twins, or maybe just like me, you like watching baby name videos. I really like them. I think they're really interesting to see what names people come up with. I think this is a bit of an unusual one because it's a twin baby name, and what I've tried to do is come up with suggestions about whether you're having girls, two boys, or one of each. And I did quite a lot of research to find lots of different name combinations. It's just a fun video really, it's not really to be taken too seriously, and some of the suggestions I really wouldn't recommend. But what I thought would be fun to do was to see if I could come up with some twin names in 6 different ways. So there are things like matchy names, ones that have the same amount of syllables, ones that are double-barreled, things like that. So I've come up with some different categories, and I'm going to try and make up some twin names that would go into those categories if you're having 2 girls, 2 boys, or one of each. I do apologise, I'm going to be looking down because I've made my list and I don't want to miss any out. So if you see me looking down, that's why. I think before I start, I think it's important to know that when you're expecting twins, it's really hard to choose names. I think picking baby names is such a responsibility as it is when you've just got one baby. Trying to think of a name that you like, that maybe your partner likes, maybe you're having middle names, so you're coming up with 2 names, and then you throw in twins into the equation, and not only have you got to then figure out if you've got a name you both like, a middle name you both like, a name that goes with both your surnames. Maybe you've then got to figure out if it's a name that those 2 names sound good together. And parents of twins and multiples will have vastly different views on this. Some will really like matchy names or rhyming names to go with their twins to kind of highlight their twinness, and others will be more inclined to steer away from that and want names that are very individual or twin-individual. I'm into twin individuals here, and will have names that are very different from each other. So in my list you might spot my girls' names because I've popped those in here somewhere. Okay, my first category is twin names that have the same first sound of the name. So not necessarily the same first letter, but they have the same first sound of the name. So I'm starting off with girl, and the ones I've come up with are Lucy and Lily. I like both of those names. I think they're very pretty names. Lucy's a name that I really would have liked, but we have a niece with that name, so it didn't make our shortlist. Madison and Morgan, again, I think are on the same similar vein, and Madison is quite a popular name but not too common anymore, and Morgan I think is quite an unusual name that doesn't get used very much at all as well. So Madison and Morgan maybe. And then my last one for the girls is Hayley and Hannah. Again, I feel like those are quite traditional names, but ones you don't really hear that often. I haven't come across a Hayley and Hannah in the last couple of years, so they're another ideas for girls' names. And then on to the boys' names. Boys, I've gone for, these quite biblical, Matthew and Mark. Again, seem to go really well together. Both begin with that same sound. James and Joshua, again, very traditional names, and names that you could hear would go well together, and they were 2 that came from my boys list. And Ethan and Evan I've put as my final one for the boy-boy combination. And then on to the boy-girl combinations, I've put Taylor and Tyler. Taylor's a really pretty name for a girl, and so I thought that goes really well with Tyler. And then Amy and Aidan I thought sounded really nice together. So that's my second one. And the third one, more traditional, Helen and Harry, I put down as my third option for the girl-boy combination. This next one was a bit tricky. I was looking for twin names that had the same amount of syllables, and I did sit there counting syllables of names for quite some time. So starting off with ones that have 2 syllables, 3 syllables, and 4 syllables. And so I've got girl ones, I've got Ava and Evie, so Ava, Evie, and I've got my girls' names, Emily and Jessica. I chose those 2, and that was one of the reasons I quite liked that combination, was because I felt that those 2 names went well together, and having the same amount of syllables was enough to feel like they went together but without them sounding the same. And my third one is Penelope for, and Felicity for. So Penelope and Felicity, again, really nice traditional, sort of more old-fashioned style names, but really pretty girls' names. On to my boys. The first ones I had for the 2 syllables were Daniel and Logan. So I thought those two names went nicely together. The the ones with just one syllable are Ted and Luke. So I thought those were nice. And longer names, Benjamin and Christopher, 3 syllables for the boys. So if you wanted longer names, and both those names I thought were really nice because Benjamin and Christopher are both names that you can shorten to Ben and Chris, and I quite like that. If you're going to be able to shorten one really easily, it's nice to be able to shorten both of them really easily. And then the girl-boy combination, I came up with Charlotte and Albert. I apologise, this is how I do my syllables. Charlotte and Albert. And then I came up with Millie and Noah, so again 2. And then for single syllables, Max and Kate, I thought were quite nice ones. Kate's a bit unusual because that's normally a shortened version, but people like shortened versions, so. And then my next category was famous names. This one is more just for fun. I'm sure some people would get a kick out of naming their twins after like famous siblings or famous people, but that's not my taste personally, but I thought I'd throw them in there just to give you some options. So girls, started off with Elsa and Anna. If you don't know who that is, you really haven't been around children very much in the last 10 years. Kylie and Danny, I thought, for girls' names. And Elizabeth and Margaret. Very traditional, very royal names. Then for the boys, I've gone for Richard and David, obviously the Attenborough brothers. I've gone for Joel and Ethan, which is the Coen brothers. I didn't know who that was. My husband suggested that one. I was struggling. And Anthony and Declan, or Ant and Dec. You know, if you wanted to. You'll have a lifetime of people knowing that that's why you named them that. But hey, if that's what you want to do. Then the girl-boy ones, Leah and Luke from Star Wars. Lisa and Bart. I think it's a bit too obvious personally, but you never know. And Maggie and Jake. Is it Gyllenhaal? Some actors. Another one of Steve's told me. Double-barreled. I was never going to use double-barreled, so it was really hard to find double-barreled names that I thought went well together. And I don't know. These are what I came up with. So Ellie Mae and Lola Rose. Thought those went nicely together. And Sophie Ann and Sarah Jane. And Ava Lee and Ruby Sue. That were nice girl names that went together. And then the boy ones, I found the boy ones harder. Ryan James and Mason George. Alfie Lee and Archie Jack. Oliver Dean and Logan Paul were the ones I came up with for boys. And then girl boys, I put Mia Eve and Jacob Ray. I have to look down for every single one, can't even remember these from the screen. Gracie Ann and Jaden Fox. I know somebody who actually really very nearly called their child Fox. It's quite a trendy name. And Laura Beth and Caden J, or Jaden K, that would work just as well. On to rhyming ones. I think this is quite popular in the twin community. You know, each to their own if that's what you want to do, but this one I found really easy for some of them, and then others I really struggled. So girl, I went with Ella and Bella. I feel like you would constantly just, the wrong one would answer you if you had names like that, Ella and Bella. But Zoe and Chloe was another rhyming one for girls, and Leah and Ria I thought were a nice combination that went well together. Boy ones, Jason and Mason. I'm not sure if those two go that well together, but and Jack and Zach, I thought those were nice. The third one, I really struggled with boy rhyming names, so I came up with Clayton and Grayson. Don't technically rhyme, don't shoot me, but close enough. And then the boy ones, Layla and Taylor, Kim and Tim. Sounds like something out of a children's storybook. And Sky and Kai, they were my options. And then finally, I just had a look through other themes that ran through children's names. So if you didn't necessarily want to use any of those categories, but maybe still wanted to link your twins' names in some ways, here are another few ideas. So you might want to link them by, maybe for girls' names, you might want to choose flowers. So Lily, Rose, Daisy, Poppy, those sorts of names. So you might choose to link them that way. You might want to choose to link them together by calling them a place name. So things like Hudson or Ellis, Phoenix, Vienna, Kingston, Aspen. all names that people have used. And then seasons, I really loved the name Summer. That was really high on my list when I was trying to think of girls' names. Stu was not keen, so it didn't even really make it to the shortlist, to be honest. But summer, autumn, I think, and winter, I love all those. I've never heard spring be used, but hey, why not? You might want to link them my precious metals, so you get ruby, sapphire, pearl, amber. Those could be names. You could choose months of the year, so some are obviously much more traditional and commonly used, like May or June, but even things like April or January are names that are coming into circulation and are still lovely. You might want to think about birds' names, so I've heard wren quite a lot, robin, aviary, adelie, red, willow, or colours, blue, violet, jade, lilac, lavender, coral, so lots of names for colours as well. So there you go. There are my twin name suggestions. Lots of interesting ones there. Some more usable than others, and some that I definitely certainly wouldn't use, but each their own. I hope I've given you some inspiration, or if not, given you a giggle of thinking, why would anyone name their twins those names? I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you want to watch more videos like this coming your way soon. Bye!